All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Angels and Astrology season. We are here in the beginning of Leo season with Archangel Raziel and have a number of astrological events to cover as well. Archangel Raziel, you can see here as depicted by the artist Via's rendering, is a very colorful archangel. The rainbow is his halo, because he is all about magical, mystical, kind of think of Magical Mystery Tour for those of you who know enough about the Beatles. He's all mystical, magical, and clairvoyance. So the rainbow is his actual halo color. So that's going to be really interesting energy coming up here with Archangel Raziel and Leo. For those of you watching the video who don't know about the archangels, I know most of the folks who are on live have been here before, but I'm going to cover this anyway. There are 15 archangels. 3 of them are sort of the managers of the other angels, Michael, Raphael, and Haniel. They actually make sure the other archangels and all the guardian angels are doing their job. They're kind of ultra uber powerful. Michael for protection, Raphael for health, and Haniel ultimate divine essence and intuition. The other archangels, the other 12, are literally lined up to zodiac signs, which is why I say that Raziel is attached to Leo, because that's the zodiac sign that Archangel Raziel is linked to. And so what that means is when you have presence in a zodiac sign, those archangels and their gifts are more inclined to be around you and help you, whether you understand or know it or not. So knowing and understanding how to work with them, especially when planets are in retrograde, in certain signs, when you're not kind of feeling quite right, understanding how to tap into them really is helpful. So I will have some kind of peppering in here, how to work with some of the archangels as we go through this. Now, today is angel number 717, 2 7s and a 1. It's angel number 7 is faith. And angel numbers resonate with the energy of the angels. And people kind of ask me about, why numbers? So the divine, angels, galactics, anything not of man, try to communicate with us. And numbers are one of the ways that they communicate. Some people who are very, very highly gifted can actually speak to them. I get messages in song as well as in like symbols and things, and some downloads. But some people can like actually have conversations with them. I'm not quite there yet, but in the absence of that, the numbers are the way they try to communicate, because there's numbers everywhere. So when you notice a number reoccurring or a number jumps out at you, that is your sign that there's a message there for you. So angel number 717, July is the 7th month, the 17th day, that is today. That is a lot of faith and create. So what that means is today is a day for you to really think about your faith and counter your fears. You're either living in faith that things are happening the way they should and things will happen and will work out, or you're living in fear of what might be. And so angel number 7 is to help you live with it in the faith. Doubly faith day. So today is a really good day to harness the ability to rely on your faith. And then 1 is create. So some of the things to reflect on today is, what fear is holding you back? Like, what are you afraid of that won't let you move forward? Are you reacting to events that happen from a place of fear? Or do you have faith that everything that has been happening is happening as a part of the divine order and is as it should be. And then ask yourself, what can you do to have more faith in divine order? And when you go inside and ask yourself, and that kind of goes to one of the channeled messages I got later on in the presentation, it's really about, what do I need to do and understand to have more faith in the divine order being what is happening, is meant to be. And so this is also maybe a day where you've seen results of your faith. So if you take a moment to think about what happened today, maybe something happened unexpectedly. Maybe your prayers have been answered in some way. Maybe something occurred today that you were like, oh my gosh, that's like so incredible. I can't believe that happened. So tonight, before you go to bed, kind of reflect on that. I'll share with you that I had been in my effort to create my own Archangel brand, I've been trying to create a set of oracle cards, an oracle card deck, based on the angels that an artist drew for me that we collaborated on, and I got stuck, and I was gonna put it away, but literally earlier today, I had a friend say, hey, I've got some extra time. My project got canceled. I'll work on getting that deck pulled together for you if you want to. So, and I had been like, I almost gave up on the fact of having it. But then when this friend stepped up and said, hey, I've got some time now, I can figure out where you've been stumbling. So thank you. My prayers have been answered. So that's just a way that, and literally that did happen today. So I'm really excited about that. So before you go to bed tonight, think about what has happened today that may be an answer to your prayers, because 717 is a day that can happen. Any question about angel numbers, today's angel number day? If you want to comment in the chat or come off mute, feel free to do so. So it does bring us to angel number 7, which is the month of July, which is faith. Faith, 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 faith. I find it very interesting that 7, which in the secular world, right, the non-spiritual, is the number of luck. But in divine order, there's no such thing as luck. In divine order, it's a belief and faith that things happen because they should be. And we're not lucky, we're blessed. We're blessed with abundance. It's not luck that something happens, It is a blessing. It is something that we created, that we manifested. It's all in our control. So I find it very, very interesting that in the spiritual world, the number for faith is also in the secular world, the number for luck, right? Lucky number 7. How often do you hear that? So it really is, July is really about, have the belief that all is as it should be, have the gratitude for what you have, and the faith that you'll always have enough, right? I mean, that's what faith in the divine is all about, that you'll always have enough. It may not be what you think you need, but upon reflection, it will be enough for you. And then you have to let go of taking control of the process. You have to kind of say, okay, I have faith that I'm asking for this, I'm doing what I need to do to make it happen, and I'm giving the rest up. Giving the rest up to universe, God, the angels, right? I'm giving the rest up. I'm going to do my thing. I'm not going to stop doing what I need to do, but I'm going to give up the result, because as long as I do what I know I need to do, I know the result will happen. I have faith that it'll all come out. This number 7 faith, the first half of the month, when we were under the sign of Cancer, is all about Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel and his energy in the first half of the month is about communication, waking up to faith. It's about parenting for those of you who are parents. And teaching your children how to be patient, how to wait for things, how to, understand that everything will come in its own time, and you may not get everything now. And so that's kind of the first half of the month. The second half of the month, when we're in Leo, is about Archangel Zadkiel. And that's really deep spiritual faith, really the ability to get into your deepest subconscious, to pull out where your fears are, what is keeping your faith at bay. Archangel Zadkiel is about understanding your dreams, the spiritual nature, and having the faith that it does mean something, that the messages you are getting are helping to point you in the right way. Everything mystical and magical about faith, because really faith is kind of magical, because the mere definition of faith means you're believing in something you haven't proven to be true. Faith is not science. Science, like, you prove something to be true. Faith is a belief based on experience that something is true. It's a belief, right? So it is very mystical and magical. And that's why people with faith sometimes are looked upon by the secular world and the scientific world as being a little crazy or a little out there. Oh yeah, she's a little out there. He's kind of different, right? But that's really what faith is all about. You cannot measure it. You cannot prove its existence, because it is a true belief based on our own personal experiences. So that's what July is about. It's about our faith. Questions, comments, anything? Just feel free to chime in, put it in chat, ask a question alive or out loud. That's totally good too. So Archangel Raziel, the archangel for Leo, his name is Hebrew, like they all are, and his name means mystery of God. He is the archangel of mysteries and secrets of the universe. And so in our dream world, we work through what we're trying to process. And oftentimes we're trying to process what our subconscious has picked up on, but our consciousness hasn't, right? And so oftentimes in our dreams, we understand what's going on in very meaningful ways. And so Archangel Raziel can help us understand that. He can also help you strengthen your faith by helping you to understand really the power of the universe, the power of the divine. And then last and certainly not least, he is the archangel to help you with your clairvoyant skills. Because he holds the mysteries and secrets of the universe, and clairvoyance is about being able to see things before they happen, or being able to see through things what other people cannot see, or what might not be there to the naked eye, right? Clairvoyance is the ability to see what actually isn't there, whether it's in the future or whether it's something that is truly a secret of the universe. And so Archangel Raziel can help you develop those gifts if you feel that these are gifts that you have or gifts you want to develop. But that is what he's here for. So for those of you who do not dream, I've talked about this a couple of times on my sessions here. It's very important that we dream. It's very important that we remember our dreams. So if you don't think you're dreaming or don't remember your dreams, when you go to bed, ask Archangel Raziel to help you dream, help you relax your mind, relax your body, so you get into that really good dream state, so you can work all those things out that your subconscious has been processing throughout the day. And then ask him to help you remember your dreams and understand what they mean, because almost all of them have some meaning. Now, some may not. There are some that may just be processing things and just kind of helping you move forward, but some may actually have really deep, significant messages for you. So a couple of the ways to talk to Archangel Raziel is, thank you for helping me see the meaning of my dreams. Help me understand why things are happening the way they are. Again, he knows the mysteries and secrets of the universe. If you've been praying for something, even if you ask Archangel Sandalphon to answer your prayers, but you don't think they may be getting answered, you may want to turn to Archangel Raziel to help you understand, why are things happening the way they are? It could be that your prayer may need to be answered in a number of stages. Like you have to go through a couple of things before it's going to get answered. But he may be able to help you get insight, because man does not know the way of the divine, unless we really work on it, unless we take the time and effort to try to understand it. Tiffany, yeah, for some reason do not remember for 10 years now. So yeah, you're totally blocking, you're blocking your dreams because there's probably a lot in them that you don't want to know. And that's the fear of knowing. That's kind of not remembering your dreams out of fear of what they are. So perhaps working with Archangel Raziel to kind of help you alleviate that fear and help you understand, remember your dreams and understand them. Because when we understand them, we understand ourselves. And when we understand ourselves better and we understand the universe better, we can live in harmony and we can live even further in our faith and fulfill our spiritual missions for our soul's purpose. Any other questions or comments about Archangel Raziel and Leo energy and all the cool things he has to offer? All right. Okay, before we get into predictions, we're going to talk about some key astrology events that I pick out based on the energy that I feel that they're giving, how the archangels are coming to, and how it deals into my channeled messages. So that you understand my process. I go out and research key astrological events and I kind of catalog them for the whole year. Then for each one of these sessions, I do a channeled message through some cards and some reflection. And then I see, okay, which of these key astrology events kind of go along with the messages to kind of make sense of what's happening in the world. So there may be other astrological events that are significant that are taking place. I did not get messages about them, therefore I'm not going to talk about them because I, again, am not an astrologer. I'm just talking about them in conjunction with the energy that I feel happening. So please don't go away thinking these are the only events that are happening over the next, 4 weeks. These are those that I have been told are significant to share with you. I know I got a couple of questions about that once before. They're like, but this isn't the only. I'm like, yeah, it's because the other ones are not things I've been told to talk about. I do what I'm told most of the time. Most of the time. So our first event actually comes on Saturday, when Mars enters Gemini. Now, this is really interesting because Gemini is about, a lot of different things, a lot of new ideas. You always hear that people who are Gemini have two sides, right? There's always the duality. But the real thing about Gemini energy is options and ideation and the energy of a lot of things going on. Is it this or that? Do I want to go here or there, right? It's a lot of that kind of energy. Now, when Mars comes into Gemini, and Mars is the planet of war, it is the planet of conflict, it's also the planet of creativity. So you really want, with Mars in Gemini, when it hits this weekend, to really only focus on short-term plans. It's not a time for long-term planning. It's like, okay, because you're not going to be very focused, because we are also still in the Neptune retrograde where we've got a bit of fuzzy brain going on. Mars entering Gemini is going to almost amplify that a little bit by like spinning ideas around in your head. So while it's a really good time for being creative and thinking about new things and being open to new things, you don't want to make long-term plans. You really just want to do short-term things, because all of these ideas are not really great. There may be one or two that are good, but it's more of like, if you think about like old-fashioned brainstorming where you throw everything out and see what sticks, that's the energy. So if you try to execute all of them, not all of them are meant to be executed. So look for those things that you can be done in the short term within a couple of weeks or a couple months. No long-term planning from like July 20th, probably for a week or two. But definitely take advantage of this energy that, to get those ideas on paper, because at some point you might want to pick them up later on. And if you're finding that all of these ideas and all of this Mars energy is keeping you're keeping your focus off. You got Neptune retrograde, you got Mars kind of stirring up the Gemini ideation. Archangel Zadkiel is the archangel for Gemini, and he can help you balance the focus you need. So it's really about, help me focus on what I need to do while I'm being open to new ways of doing things. But you really want to make sure that you don't drop the ball on things that have to be done and turn around and start working on new things until you've completed the things you've started. So that's kind of the energy that you just want to stay away from. And Archangel Zadkiel can help you. But when you get these ideas over the next week or so, write them down. Now may not be the time to act upon them, but at some point in the future, it might be. So don't think of it as wasted energy, because anytime we get creativity, we get ideas, we think of new and different ways. It's always good to log them somewhere in a journal, in a book, wherever you log things, because there's probably a reason you thought of it, and you may want to go back to it at some point in time. So that's our Mars in Gemini. Now, what this is also going to mean, broader scale geopolitically, is because Mars is the god of conflict, you're going to really see the greater geopolitical climate. You're going to see a lot of people weighing in on how to deal with things, how to deal with the conflicts that are ongoing, right? What's going on in the Middle East and in Ukraine and wherever else, in Taiwan and Singapore and wherever else this stuff is going on, and even here at home. You're going to hear a lot of people throw around a lot of ideas. You're going to hear a lot of people throw around a lot of speculation. It's a real big time for speculation. So just watch that. Don't try to get sucked into one person's theory or another during this July time, because again, people are really just tossing ideas out. No one will have any real proof around their theories or their theories around things. So just be careful about that, because it's also going to bring that kind of speculation, conspiracy theory kind of thinking as well. So just watch that and be careful of that. And on Sunday, the day after that hits, we have a full moon in Capricorn. Now, you may or may not remember, June 21st, we had a full moon in Capricorn as well.
Yeah.
This full moon is directly tied to last month's full moon. And you know, you'll be okay if, just like last month, if you've done things right, you'll hit your stride, you'll be okay. But if you've tried to take shortcuts, if you haven't done your full research, you may have to reassess and redo, right? You may get blocked. You may, if you haven't been keeping up with things, you may find that you've got an overload or a backlog of things to do. I mean, if you haven't, you know, washed your car in 3 weeks or cleaned your house or, you know, hit your,
no.
yeah, yeah, you know, or weeded your garden for a while, you
Mhm.
may feel like you're overwhelmed when the full moon hits. Because like the last full moon was, hey, you got to get stuff done. This full moon is, if you didn't get it done then, it's going to come and kick you in the butt now. So it's sort of that, okay, giving you a second chance, Capricorn full moon again. Let's get our acts together. So if you're feeling Saturday into Sunday into Monday, 21st, 22nd, that you've got too much to manage, yeah, you've probably been putting things off. And so you really need to create a plan to get things done so that you can get back on track. Because there's other energy coming later, particularly with a Mercury retrograde on our heels, that really get things done now before the retrograde, so you're not even further behind when that hits. Because we haven't had a retrograde in a while, and a big one is coming.
Yeah.
A little crazy one is coming. And it is going to be very crazy because July 5th, or 25th, July 25th, Mercury enters Virgo. It is at home. Yay. I'm a Virgo. Thank you very much. And it's fastidious. It's precise. It's about organization. It's about being productive. So when Mercury hits Virgo for about 2 weeks, you are going to be able to get things done. You're going to really be able to hone in on the detail. If there's little things, like if there are detailed tasks that need to happen, schedule them between the 25th and August 5th. So make sure that you use the 25th and the next week or two after to get all of this stuff, get yourself organized, get yourself focused. You know, take advantage of Mercury being in its natural place in Virgo, because when it hits, it's going to hit. So August 5th, it's going to go retrograde in Virgo. Those of you like me who are Virgo, honestly, you are just going to have to work extra hard to get up every day and get things done, because you are going to find yourself behind. You're going to find things aren't working in spades. You're going to find communications are going awry, right? So everyone is going to feel this anxiety. And Virgo energy is one about perfection. And Virgo energy is also one where people are hard on themselves in Virgo energy, right? Oh. So what you're going to really want to do when Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo is to really figure out how the best ways for you to relieve stress. You know, make sure you've got positive, healthy ways to relieve stress. You know, be aware of overeating, of overindulging, of grabbing that glass of wine to chill out, because you can't be grabbing a glass of wine for 2 weeks while Mercury is retrograde in Virgo. That's not very healthy. May feel good at the moment, but in the end, it's not probably really good for you. Because once we get used to that energy, August 14th-ish, it is going to go backwards. Mercury is going to go even further back and retrograde in Leo, where it will remain there pretty much through the end of August. So August is pretty much an entire Mercury retrograde. Now, when it's retrograde in Leo, this is where it's like you're going to want to have fun and forget about work, forget about the details. It's all about, I want to do what I want to do. I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to take anything seriously. So you're really going to need to balance, because the retrograde in Virgo, you're stressed out about having too much work and not being able to get it done and things going awry. And then you're going to start feeling this energy of, yeah, what the heck? I don't need to get it done anyway. I'm just going to, go and drop the work and go have fun. So you're really going to need to start balancing this energy. The 4 R's during a retrograde: review, reflect, reconnect, refrain. Review, August 5th through the 14th. Review what you need to get done, what you have to get done, what you must get done, and what is optional. And make sure you focus on what you have to or must do. The optional things can wait until September, until we're in a little better place. The 14th through the 28th, review your calendar and put some play dates, right? Connect, review how you spend your time and make sure you make time for fun so you don't feel you're losing out on it, right? Yeah. So kind of review your patterns. Reflect, August 5th through the 14th. You really want to reflect on what can you do to work smarter during this stressful time. Reflect, what can I do to work smarter, to not take the hard way. Maybe it's you need to ask someone for help. Reflect on how can I be smarter in my work, because you're going to be overwhelmed. And then the 14th through the 28th, you really want to reflect on, am I being, is what I am doing impacting others in a negative way? Am I not, is my like, yeah, forget about work, forget about deadlines. I'll get it done whenever. I'm going to go, go outside and play with my dog or whatever. Is that impacting others? Reflect how your actions are impacting others, because you're going to have very little patience for getting work done, and you may be impacting others negatively. So you really want to reflect on that. And then kind of go, okay, if I'm only impacting myself, then maybe I'm okay with it. I'm just doing it to myself. But if I'm impacting a team, or if I'm impacting like a deadline of another project or something, tell yourself, okay, I've got to get this done. I've got to, figure out how to balance all of this. Reconnect. The 5th through the 14th, you're reconnecting with healthy habits, healthy eating, exercise, staying away from stressful situations. You're reconnecting with living a more healthy lifestyle so you can get through those 2 weeks. So reconnect with your health. 14th through the 28th, that's when it's time to reconnect with people. Maybe there's someone you haven't seen in a while. Go have lunch, grab a cup of coffee, walk in the park, whatever, right? Reconnecting with people is the perfect read to do the 14th through the 28th, especially folks you may not have seen in a while. Great time to do that, because again, you really aren't going to be into doing the work anyway. So you may as well, spend time that's enjoyable, especially with people who you really want to, get together with. Yeah. And then the refrain. The refrain from the 5th through the 14th is really refrain from saying yes to everything. Refrain from taking on more than you already have on your plate. Nothing new. Refrain from taking on anything new. Refrain from making any big decisions. Refrain from signing any contracts. You know, anything that's going to take on more work that you can't handle anyway. From the 14th to the 28th, just refrain from indulgences. When you have, you know, and refrain from really being mean to people. When our patience is tested, we tend to take it out on others. And so really try to refrain from being that person. So watch your patience, watch your words, you know, and do make sure you have healthy fun. And you'll get through August, because this will be kind of a temporary thing, but it's a big retrograde, because you're going to feel a shift. You know, a planet normally doesn't go backwards. It will go backward when it's retrograde, but the fact that it's going back from Virgo energy back into Leo energy really is a significant energy change. When it's retrograde in Virgo, lean on Archangel Metatron. He knows your purpose in life. He knows what you're meant to be doing. Hey, Archangel Metatron, can you help me focus on what I really need to be doing that keeps me on my path? And you know, Archangel Raziel, when you're in Leo, hey, you know, Archangel Raziel, could you really help me make sure that I understand why what's going on is going on, and I'm not forcing things I shouldn't be forcing, right? I'm not going overboard. Help me to kind of balance it spiritually so I'm not going outside of my realm, or help me to see the situation for what it is. Help me to accept the situation for what it is, and help me to not regret what I've done these 7 days, or these 2 weeks, whatever, 7 days, what, 2 weeks. Help me not regret what I've been doing. Might have some regret. So that's this August Mercury retrograde. So be careful. Now, I wanted to bring this up. I talked about this months ago, and I talked about it in my annual predictions, but we're in the middle of it. So with all of that going on, we do have Uranus sextile Neptune through December, from now until December. And I wanted to bring it up now because we are in Archangel Raziel when we turn to Leo in the next couple of days. We will be with an archangel who is really is a helper of spiritual awakening and dreams and intuition, right? And this Uranus sextile Neptune is bringing energy where what I call like that veil from this world to the next is very, very thin right now. And seeing spirits, heightened intuition, you know, kind of coming into your own knowingness is really what happens when Uranus is sextile Neptune. And now with Leo and Archangel Raziel, we've got a very active dream life as well. And so this is kind of coming together. So now is a real optimal time to be able to sit back and go, all right, what does this really mean? What am I dreaming? What am I seeing? It's really interesting because the other day, last Wednesday, I see Archangel Azrael when someone near me has a loss. And last Wednesday I saw Archangel Azrael. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, no, but I know that I knew enough to know that no person died. And I'm like, oh, why is he visiting me? Like, what's going on? And then I find out a couple days later that my niece lost her dog. And I'm like, oh, that's why I saw him. And it was literally the day that they put him down, right? And so these spiritual insights are happening all the time if you're aware enough and watching it enough. And so we're in a real heightened state for this. So if you're inclined, or you think you're inclined, or you really want to get a deeper understanding, this month of August, while we're in the Uranus sextile Neptune, is a really good time to kind of meditate, to kind of go through some of those rituals. I've got a couple of videos. I know they're maybe buried somewhere on YouTube if you are interested in me resurrecting them, about how to find your spirit guides and some tips for getting grounded and connecting with spirit. We're in really good energy in order to do that. Highly creative, highly intuitive. So please try to take advantage of that. And then particularly in the dream world. I don't know about you all, but my dreams I've gotten and are increasingly getting incredibly vivid. So much so that, you know, there occasionally I'm like, did I dream it or did I live it? Maybe maybe it's yes to both, right? Like, oh yeah, maybe I did live this as well. So really now is a great time to take advantage of that and make sense of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about that before I go into my channeled messages? And there were a lot.
Wow.
And I only asked through August 8th. I had to cut it off. It was coming in really quick. The very first message and card I pulled was Archangel Raziel in the Hermit card, and the message of, how are you doing spiritually? Right? How are we all doing spiritually? Are we praying? Are we meditating? Are we remaining grounded? It's real easy in summer, and especially for those of us in the northern, more northern parts of the country, to take the summer off from doing those kinds of things, because you're outside, it's nice, you're doing things, you had the 4th of July, you had picnics, you got whatever. So really, how are you doing spiritually? We are going into a very difficult energy period when we start looking at what is going to be happening. We've got the retrograde in August. We've got a bunch of stuff happening in September. Late September, early October, Pluto goes back into Capricorn after being in Aquarius before it flips back. So there's a lot of heavy energy, and you really need to make sure you're spiritually whole so that you can make it through in faith, not fear. So take some time this month to, like the Hermit, to sit back and meditate and find where you need to be better aligned spiritually. And if you do it now, you'll help to remain grounded, because we're going to be entering a period where things are going to just come at us, and we may feel off guard. We may be doing the why, right? So do a spiritual health check. The 9, lots of fire, 9, 10, and 5 of fire. So we're also in a period, we've got, Neptune retrograde coming up on Mercury retrograde. We've just got energy, hyper energy out there, where there's setbacks are going to happen. Things aren't going to go the way that you planned. And you can't give up. We are so close, right? We are all so close to hitting whatever we wanted to do this year. I mean, we're 7 months into the year. We're over halfway there. So when these setbacks happen, don't give up. Like any detour, if you're on a road, it's a detour. You may have to take a different direction. It may take you a little longer to get there, but you don't stop. You don't stop. You get to the end of your journey, but maybe in a different direction. And if you need to ask others for help, do so. Don't try to take everything on. You know, it's really interesting that I said that I got this message, you know, and then looked at the astrology, and the astrology around the retrograde is all about a lot feeling behind on work and feeling like you're falling behind. And then this 10 of fire comes to say, hey, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but you don't have to do it all by yourself. Ask people for help, ask your angels for help, ask, you know, divine guidance for help. So never ever feel like you should be doing it all on your own. No one expects anyone to be successful on their own. And I don't know of anyone ever who was successful by doing it all by themselves in anything, to be honest. And then the 5 of fire, and, you know, kind of what's going on. You've got the Mars thing over here, you've got a bunch of stuff, but kind of what's going on and what I'm feeling and sensing and being told is there is conflict on all sides. There isn't a single group of people who are not in conflict with somebody else right now. And those of us who are trying to lead our spiritual path are getting stuck in the middle, right? We're getting stuck in the middle of a secular world who is fighting this spirituality that's coming with this, you know, Pluto in Aquarius. It has started and people are fighting, and the more spiritual you get, the more people seem to be angry about what is coming because of it. And so if you're feeling stuck in between all of this, yeah, you are. But again, don't give up. When we do something different, when we become better people, when we become more spiritual, when we start living a path that brings us happiness, people who are unhappy are going to want to pull us out of it. Going to be like, how could you be so happy? Don't you know that this is going on here and that's going on here? And you do have your head in the sand. And it's like, no, I get it. I know there's stuff going on, but I also know I'm good, right? I know that I'm good no matter what happens. And I think that's what's going on right now. It's those who are trying to be spiritual, trying to keep themselves whole, and are essentially okay and not getting all caught up with everything going on around us. We're kind of being bombarded by people who are almost telling us, you know, what's wrong with you? So keep to it. Don't give into it. I say this over and over again. All we can do is manage our reaction, right? And our reaction is, I'm fine. I understand. You and I are not in the same place. If you want to learn more about how I can be the way I am right now, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. But I'm not going to go down your path. I'm not going to start bad-mouthing people. I'm not going to trash talk people. I'm not going to get into that because I'm down my path.
Yeah.
So just know that all that energy is around us, and we cannot give into it. Walk away if you can. And then the 8 of Earth. The 8 of Earth is about learning. And it is the message that says, hey, folks, a lot's going on. We just had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate. We don't know a whole lot about it, but we're hearing a lot of stuff about it. We are going to be hearing more things. What are we hearing about what's happening in Israel and the Ukraine and, you know, everywhere else, China, Singapore, yada, yada, yada. The 8 of Earth is here to remind you to do your own research. Don't trust what other people are telling you,
Right.
because it may not be whole. Learn about what is going on in your community, global, geopolitically, if you care about that. Just do your own research and learn what is going on your own, so that you can formulate your own opinion, and, you know, not be triggered by what you're hearing. And so this is just a reminder that it's going to get wackier. So make sure you trust yourself and your own research. The more you learn, the more you know, the better off you will be in the long run. As we hit the retrograde, and a little beyond, the Eight of Air, Water, and then the Empress come into play. Be careful that you don't fall into a place of fear, of not doing things because you're afraid of what might happen. The Eight of Air is literally kind of like I think I'm stuck. I think I'm not moving forward. Like you're almost misinterpreting your situation. That's why it's like an illusion. I was once told that fear is just an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Kind of cute. It was a kind of a sales thing, but it kind of makes sense, right? And so as the retrograde starts kicking in, do a check and make sure that the way you're feeling isn't because you're interpreting things as being one way and not seeing the full picture, you know, and feeling, oh, I've got no way out. I'm stuck here. I'm just going to have to put up with it. I'm going to, you know, have to do it. So try not to get sucked into that. And then the Eight of Water kind of complements it. We have a lot of eight, and eight is pretty much unlimited possibility in angel numbers. And the fact that we got, you know, 3 8 cards is pretty significant, because it's all up to you, right? It's you can do anything. It's kind of this reinforcement that no matter what's happening around you, you are still in charge of you. And the Eight of Water is about, you know, if you need to move on, if you need to, you know, continue your search, look for something else, continue your spiritual journey, go do it. You know, don't feel like something, someplace, someone is holding you back. It's okay to move on. It's a natural part of growing, especially spiritually, for you to move on. So the Eight of Water, it's up to you to move on and search for what makes sense. Do your research, assess your situation honestly. Maybe you need to bring in a third party to help you assess your situation because you're not seeing it clearly. And make sure that you know that it's in your control to move on, to find something that makes sense to continue on that spiritual path. And then the very last card was Major Arcana. It was the Empress, and it's Archangel Gabriel. And I truly believe that this card came up because we need to nurture ourselves and each other. There's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are angry. And a lot of people are feeling left out of the conversation, of decisions, just kind of, there's a lot of people struggling financially. And so they're feeling that they can't do things that other people are doing, right? A group of friends wants to go out. One doesn't want to admit, I don't have the money to do so. So they're just feeling left out. So take some time to nurture yourself and nurture others, and reflect on the gifts of abundance that you do have. Give gifts of abundance to others, your abundance of yourself. It doesn't have to be material. It doesn't have to be monetary, but giving of yourself is oftentimes what someone might need or want. And that's Archangel Gabriel. He's about nurturing. And particularly, he's about nurturing children. This is a very confusing time. The assassination is a very confusing time for children, particularly, those of, you know, under 10, 12, where they've never really seen anything like this before in the US. Those of us who are old enough to remember the Kennedy assassination, and it wasn't an attempt. It was, as a child, it was like, how could somebody do that to a president, right? Like, like if they're not safe, how can I be safe?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on now too. So remember to maybe help someone if they're having trouble with talking to a kid, if you know of children, grandchildren, whatever, that might be struggling with this. Don't forget the nurturing. Nurturing is so important right now. And I always ask my spirit team to give me a quote, in a music quote, because that's what they like to do. And I still haven't figured out who it is that's on my spirit team that talks to me in music. I'm still trying to figure that out. But the Barry White song, "I'm Never Gonna Quit," came that literally this line, "I'm never going to quit because quitting just ain't my shtick." That's kind of what this is about. The times may be tough, but it's really not time to quit. We're almost there, right? We're almost there. Pluto is making its way through Aquarius. It's going to dip, but then come the latter half of the year and for the next 20 years, we're going to be in a climate of nurture, of peace, of unity, of spirituality. So just don't quit.
Good.
Any questions from anyone? All right. I'm looking in the chat, nothing in the chat. So before I close and do the private part of tonight, I want to remind folks, if you're watching in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video. The next live event is going to be Monday, August 19th. I don't know why, but that's the date they told me I need to pick. I'm sure there's a reason when we get there, but I normally never do a Monday, but I was told that's the day I need to do the next event. So I always listen to my spirit team, not my husband necessarily, but my spirit team when they tell me to do things. If you know of anyone who's local to the Crystal Lake area, Sunday, July 28th, I have a booth at the Holistic Health Fair. I will have specials. I will have some tangible guardian angel items. So please stop by. I'm also doing readings in person at the fair as well. So if you know anybody in the area, please stop by. I now have guardian angel merchandise. I've got angel keychains and angel coins. Some of them are going to be gifts with purchase, or you can purchase them. I'm also embarking on taking the Archangel drawings that Via so graciously drew for me without charge, and I'm putting them on t-shirts. I am actually right now wearing the Archangel Metatron. I did a couple of samples just to see how they would turn out. I will have all archangels on the site probably within the next 4 to 8 weeks. And crystal angels. I am now going to be teaching folks how to use crystal angels for stress relief and get rid of those stress balls. Stress balls actually don't take stress away from you, but a crystal angel, if you use the right crystal, it actually will absorb the stress. I've been using this now for a couple of weeks. Had a whole bunch of crap happen in my personal life, and it's really helped. So lots of stuff coming to help you manage through this. Keep an eye on the website, my Facebook page, if you're on the email list or the blog, for all kinds of information. Yes, Crystal Lake, Tiffany, Crystal Lake, Illinois. I don't know if there's Crystal Lakes in other states, but Crystal Lake, Illinois. There may be a Crystal Lake somewhere else, so I just want to make that clear. Yeah, so for those of you who are live, I have my election predictions I'm going to be talking about, and then we'll do our card pulls. For those of you who are on the video, you'll always want to join live because you never know what extra. And if you're watching the video and you want to know what my election predictions are, you can message me privately and I will share them with you. So with that, I am going to stop the recording. Wish you all a wonderful evening and wish you